Hello, I am Gita Wulanisyah Putri and I will tell you about my review after reading a short story and watching a movie that have the same title, namely Johnny Mnemonic. The story is written by William Gibson, a Canadian-American writer who develops the subgenre of science fiction that is cyberpunk. The short story tells about Johnny Mnemonic, who meets Ralphie, someone who wants to make a contract with him. But without Johnny knows, Ralphie enters the data stolen from Yakuza in Johnny's memory so that Johnny becomes the target of Yakuza. Yakuza wants to kill Johnny to secure the data, but Ralphie and Lewis try to trap Johnny. However, a razor girl saves Johnny. Johnny makes that girl named Molly as his bodyguard and leave by taking Ralphie as their captive. But then, Ralphie is killed by the Yakuza. Johnny wants to pull out the data that he carries to save himself. Molly brings Johnny to meet John, a dolphin who can help John to access the data that is in his head. After that, they went to the Lotex to deal with the Yakuza who are still chasing them, and lured the Yakuza to killing floor, and finally they managed to defeat the Yakuza. In the end of story, Johnny and Molly become partners, and they use the information that Johnny gets to make transactions and have money. On the other hand, the movie from Johnny Mnemonic has the same plot, but there are significant differences. The movie starts with Johnny Mnemonic, a data courier, who gets a mission from Ralphie to store a large capacity of important information, but he has to erase his memories such as his family and childhood. The data is targeted by Yakuza, which makes Johnny have to flee from the pursuit of the Yakuza who are trying to get hold of it. When he needs to meet Ralphie, Johnny meets a former female bodyguard named Jane who has a grudge against Ralphie. Johnny was framed by Ralphie, who collaborated with the Yakuza who are chasing him to get the information he was carrying. Jane helps Johnny and they run to Lotex hideout before heading to a doctor who usually treats Jane when she has problems. The doctor is called Spider, and he is able to diagnose what happened to the implant in Johnny's brain. The three of them headed to a hospital and enter a room to check on Johnny. But a mad prize is sent by the Yakuza to get Johnny's head that contains important information. Johnny and Jane manage to escape, but Spider is killed by the mad prize. The important data targeted are pharmacom research data on drugs for NAS that can save many people in the world. The data is hidden and the owner is the wife of the pharmacom boss. Johnny contacts the pharmacom's boss named Shinji and informs him about the large pharmacom research data that he has. He wants to negotiate to get the data out of his head. Then Johnny and Jane head to the Lotex headquarters to meet Jones on the order of Spiders after they find out what important data is in Johnny's memory. The wife of pharmacom boss gave him hints to Johnny so he could open and download the data. Johnny initially doesn't trust Jones because Jones is dolphin robot, But after being convinced by Jane and J-Bone, he agrees to access the data at the risk of his life if he doesn't succeed. But the Yakuza and the Mad Priest are back trying to get Johnny's head. Shinji also appears to kill Johnny, but his wife Face appears and tells him that the data will make Shinji have a new purpose in life. But Shinji, who was attacked by the Yakuza, died after giving one of the data access codes to Johnny. After the chaos occurred, Johnny returned to access the data in his memory with the help of Jones and the code that he got until it worked. J-Bone is a member of Lotex who always helped Johnny and Jane to download the data and share it live so that everyone in the world can find out how to make the NAS medicine. Johnny survived and managed to do it, and that made him remember his childhood and his family again. Johnny and Jane embrace for success and together with the Lotex look at the city scenery with like feelings. There are so many differences in the storyline in the short story and the movie, where Johnny is saved by a woman who has a different name, Molly in the short story and Jane in the movie. In addition, in the movie, Johnny doesn't meet Ralphie directly, in contrast to the short story which begins with the meeting of Johnny, Ralphie, and Louis. Louis' character is not featured in the movie adaptation. Then there are also many additional characters in the movie such as Spider, Pharmacombos, and the Mad Priest who have an important role in the movie. In comparison, the movie adaptation has a more complex storyline than the short story, and that makes the film even more fun to watch. Broadly speaking, the short story and the film centers on Johnny, a data courier who carries important information in his head, which makes him targeted by the Yakuza and his effort to save himself from danger. In science fiction stories, the main character or the hero in the story tries to escape the threat. In this movie, Johnny gets critical data that could have saved a lot of people, but he has self-doubt about the magnitude of the risk that must be taken to save people. Johnny thought that he would die with too much data in his memory or die because he failed to access the data. But in the end, Johnny agreed to take the risk after being persuaded and gets a code to access the data. On the other hand, Pharmacombos also has self-doubt about the data that John has, whether he has to negotiate to get the data or kill Johnny so that the data cannot be accessed by anyone. Then the appearance of the figure of his dead wife in virtual form, telling him that the data could give him a new, better purpose in his life. In this problem, we can see how the characters in the story try to find what their purpose in the world is and how they handle it. In making decision, they get persuasion from those around them and show that someone in the story cannot really decide on their freedom or their own decision. I think that's it that I can tell you about my review, and I'm sorry if there are some mistakes in my pronunciation. Thank you very much.